Welcome back, Deep Divers. Today we're going way back in time to ancient Mesopotamia
Oh, yeah.
to explore how writing emerged alongside the rise of cities. And this isn't just some dusty history lesson.
Right.
It actually helps us understand our modern lives
It does. It really does.
in ways you might not expect.
Yeah, it's fascinating to consider that pivotal moment
Yeah,
when humans shifted from nomadic hunter-gatherers to settled agricultural communities.
yeah.
This transition, which began around 10,000 years ago, had a ripple effect on everything.
So,
Imagine learning to domesticate animals, cultivate crops like wheat and barley,
wow.
and even figuring out how to weave cloth.
Okay, so let's unpack this.
Sure.
We went from roaming around to putting down roots.
Yeah.
How did that lead to cities?
Well, these innovations resulted in permanent settlements, and that stability allowed people to focus on new things,
Okay.
like developing better tools, finding more efficient ways to process food, and even establishing early forms of trade. These developments were the seeds for the first cities.
So Mesopotamia wasn't just any plot of land, right? Its geography played a key role in all of this.
Exactly. Mesopotamia had fertile plains thanks to the Tigris and Euphrates rivers.
Right.
But it also had mountain ranges and even a desert that surprisingly supported thriving cities.
Interesting.
And get this, the ancient Mesopotamians developed ingenious irrigation techniques, leading to incredibly productive agriculture.
So they were able to grow more food, which meant more people could live in one place.
Right.
But cities are more than just crowds.
Got it.
Okay.
A true city has a specialized economy that goes beyond just farming.
Okay.
Think about craftspeople creating intricate seals, bronze workers forging tools, and merchants bartering goods from faraway lands.
Wow.
It's this division of labor and interdependence that really defines urban life.
Yeah.
One group relies on the other,
Uh-huh.
and everyone plays a specific role in the city's survival.
Hold on. We can't forget about the challenges.
Right.
Managing all those people, resources, and competing interests,
Yeah.
that must have been a headache.
Definitely. And this complexity led to the emergence of strong leaders
I see.
who could oversee these elaborate systems and manage conflicts, especially over things like water resources.
Uh-huh.
The need for organization and management became a driving force.
So life in these early cities must have been bustling.
Oh, yeah.
What do we know about their daily lives?
Archaeological digs at Ur, one of the earliest excavated cities, paint a vivid picture.
Yeah.
It had narrow, winding streets suggesting limited use of wheeled vehicles.
Interesting.
Picture this donkeys carrying sacks of grain through maze-like alleys.
I can imagine it.
The sounds of bartering in the marketplace.
Wow.
It's a glimpse into their world.
I'm starting to understand the bigger picture here.
Good.
As these cities grew and life became more complex, there was a need to keep track of everything.
Yes.
Is that where writing comes in?
Precisely. Imagine trying to run a city without any written records.
Right.
Complete chaos.
Yeah.
The earliest Mesopotamian tablets dating back to around 3200 BCE, they're essentially lists.
Lists, like grocery lists.
Not quite.
Okay.
More like inventories of goods entering or leaving the temples in the city of Uruk. They meticulously recorded everything on clay tablets.
Uh-huh.
They used reeds to press wedge-shake signs into the wet clay, creating what we call cuneiform.
So those early tablets were like ancient spreadsheets.
Yeah, exactly.
And thanks to those durable clay tablets, we have these incredible insights into their world.
Yes.
It's like a direct line to their daily routines, their economy, even their legal systems.
Absolutely. And what's remarkable is that this seemingly simple act of writing revolutionized everything.
Wow.
It went beyond tracking oxen, fish, and bread.
Right?
It impacted trade, record-keeping, legal agreements, and even the transmission of knowledge.
Wow.
This innovation was truly a game changer.
It's incredible how something we take for granted today, like writing a quick text,
Yeah.
has roots that go back thousands of years to these ancient Mesopotamian cities.
It's a testament to human ingenuity and the desire to find solutions to complex challenges. Yeah.
And it all circles back to that pivotal moment when humans decided to settle down and build something lasting.
Absolutely.
Before we move on, there's another layer to the emergence of cities we haven't touched on yet.
Okay.
Their connection to religion.
Religion. You mean those impressive temples we see in pictures?
Exactly. Those temples weren't just places of worship. They were bustling social and economic centers.
Oh, wow.
They were like the heart of the community, almost like ancient corporations.
Okay. I'm intrigued. What made them so powerful?
Well, in Mesopotamian belief, the gods were seen as the ultimate owners of everything, the land, the fisheries, you name it. The temples were tasked with managing all these divine assets, from processing food to organizing trade.
So they were more than just priests. They were administrators, economists, and even entrepreneurs.
Precisely. And over time, military leaders emerged, often war heroes,
Right.
who started dedicating their spoils of war to the gods, further increasing the temple's wealth and influence. It's like a symbiotic relationship. The rulers gained legitimacy through the temples, and the temples thrived with the ruler's support.
You got it. And this dynamic played a crucial role in the growth of cities like Uruk, one of the earliest examples of urbanization in Mesopotamia.
Wow.
Uruk was a marvel, massive walls, impressive architecture, and evidence of advanced craftsmanship.
So impressive.
They even invented the potter's wheel, a technological leap that allowed for mass production of pottery. Imagine the impact that had on their lives.
It's mind-blowing. It speaks to their ingenuity and drive to solve practical problems.
Speaking of practical problems,
Okay.
let's talk about a challenge many early cities faced: trade.
Right.
Remember southern Mesopotamia, where many cities were located, lacked essential resources like stone, metal, and high-quality wood.
So they had to get creative and find these resources elsewhere.
Exactly. This need led to the development of sophisticated trading network spanning vast distances.
Wow.
They connected places like Turkey, Iran, and even the island of Cyprus.
Really?
It's surprising, isn't it? To think they were trading across such distances in the ancient world.
What were they trading and what did they get in return?
Well, they exchanged their surplus agricultural products, things like grain and textiles,
Uh-huh.
for the resources they needed. For instance, they acquired copper from Cyprus,
Right.
essential for making bronze tools and weapons. It was a classic example of supply and demand driving trade, connecting them to a wider world.
This trade must have had a ripple effect on their culture.
Oh, absolutely.
Introducing new ideas and practices from these far-off places.
Absolutely. It wasn't just about goods trade, facilitated the exchange of ideas and cultural practices.
Right.
This openness to different cultures is a key characteristic of Mesopotamian society. It's a fantastic example of how interconnectedness can lead to innovation and cultural dynamism.
We often think of ancient civilizations as isolated, but their world was far more interconnected than we might imagine.
Exactly.
And trade wasn't just limited to long-distance exchanges, right?
You're right, there was also a vibrant internal trade network within Mesopotamia Mare, which we touched upon earlier as a prime example, situated on the Euphrates River.
Right.
It was a hub for trade between the north and south. We have detailed records from Mare that paint a vivid picture of their trading activities.
What kind of details?
We know they traded everything from wood and copper to wine and even oil. We even have records of officials inspecting cargo and levying taxes.
Sounds like a well-oiled machine. They understand the importance of regulating trade to ensure fairness and generate revenue for the city.
And get this, trade wasn't limited to city dwellers. Remember the nomadic pastoralists who roamed the surrounding regions?
Yeah.
They weren't just herding sheep and goats. They were active participants in this intricate web of trade.
So they traded their animals and animal products for grain tools and other essential goods from the cities.
Precisely. It was a mutually beneficial relationship. Both groups relied on each other for survival and prosperity. It's a reminder that ancient economies were complex and involved a wide range of participants.
This is all so fascinating. It really challenges the image of ancient Mesopotamia as a simple agrarian society.
It does.
But let's shift gears a bit. I'm curious to explore another aspect of their culture.
Okay.
Their remarkable literature.
That's a great point. The Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the most famous works of Mesopotamian literature,
Right.
is a testament to their storytelling abilities.
Right. The story of Gilgamesh, a king searching for immortality. What makes this epic so compelling even today?
It's a timeless tale of heroism, friendship loss, and the search for meaning.
Yeah.
The themes resonate with us even thousands of years later.
Imagine a story etched on clay tablets passed down through generations.
I know, it's amazing.
And still captivating audiences today.
And it wasn't just storytelling. Their writing had a profound impact on the development of schools and intellectual traditions. The need for scribes led to the establishment of formal schools where students learned not just writing but also mathematics, astronomy, and literature.
So they had institutions dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge, much like our universities today.
Exactly. These institutions ensured the transmission of knowledge across generations. They were laying the groundwork for scientific inquiry, for a way of understanding the world based on observation and analysis.
So while the invention of writing was born out of practical necessity, it ultimately paved the way for intellectual and cultural flourishing.
Precisely. It's a reminder that even the most practical innovations can have profound and unexpected consequences.
Speaking of profound, we've been talking about their achievements in writing and storytelling, but what about their scientific advancements? What did they discover about the world around them?
Their mathematical and astronomical knowledge was truly remarkable. They developed sophisticated systems of mathematics, including multiplication and division tables, square root tables, and even tables of compound interest.
Compound interest. They were thinking about finances just like we do today.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
They understood complex financial concepts, and their astronomical observations were equally impressive. They could predict eclipses, track the movements of stars and planets, and even divide the year into 12 months based on the lunar cycle. They weren't just passively observing the heavens, they were actively trying to understand them.
It's mind-boggling to think they were making these discoveries thousands of years ago. So much of what we take for granted today has its roots in ancient Mesopotamia.
It's a humbling reminder that we are part of a much larger story.
Yeah.
A story that stretches back through millennia.
And
And it's a story that continues to unfold.
it's amazing how these ancient Mesopotamians thousands of years ago were grappling with some of the same questions we still ponder today.
I know, it's fascinating, isn't it?
The meaning of life, our place in the universe, how to manage complex systems. It really makes you appreciate the enduring nature of human curiosity.
And speaking of enduring legacies,
Yeah,
we can't overlook the individuals who dedicated themselves to preserving all this knowledge for future generations.
you talk about those figures we mentioned earlier, Assurbanipal and Nabonidus.
Precisely, Assurbanipal, the Assyrian king, established a vast library in Nineveh driven by an insatiable desire to collect and catalog the knowledge of his time.
Wow.
Thousands of clay tablets meticulously organized,
Really?
encompassing a wide array of subjects.
Hmm.
It must have been an awe-inspiring sight.
It's like he understood the power of knowledge and the importance of keeping that flame burning.
And then we have Nabonidus, the last ruler of independent Babylon. He was practically obsessed with excavating and restoring ancient monuments, almost like an early archaeologist.
It sounds like he was on a mission to piece together the puzzle of the past, using those fragments to understand his present, maybe even trying to learn from the mistakes of those who came before him.
His fascination with the history of his ancestors reveals a deep respect for their legacy, and in his quest to connect with the past, he helped lay the groundwork for the field of archaeology as we know it today.
It's fascinating how these figures, separated from us by such vast stretches of time, shared our modern fascination with history and our desire to understand where we come from.
It speaks to a fundamental human impulse, the need to connect with the past, to draw lessons from it, and to find meaning in the grand tapestry of human experience.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into ancient Mesopotamia, what are some of the key takeaways you hope our listeners will hold on to?
The story of ancient Mesopotamia reminds us that even the most ancient stories can have profound implications for our lives today. The invention of writing, the rise of cities, the development of complex systems of trade and governance.
Yeah,
These innovations didn't just happen in isolation.
right?
They were interconnected, driven by human ingenuity and the need to solve practical challenges.
It's a testament to the power of human creativity and our enduring spirit of innovation. We often think of progress as linear, but exploring the past shows us that it's more like a web with threads connecting different eras and cultures.
It challenges us to think about the legacies we're creating today. What will future generations learn from our time? What stories will they tell about us? And perhaps most importantly, it reminds us that we're all part of a much larger story, a story that began long before us and will continue long after we're gone.
Their achievements in writing, city building, trade, and intellectual pursuits laid the foundation for so much of what we take for granted today. From the moment they first pressed those wedge-shaped marks into clay, they set in motion a chain of events that has shaped our world.
It's a journey that speaks volumes about human resilience, adaptability, and our endless fascination with the world around us.
Well said. We hope this deep dive into ancient Mesopotamia has sparked your curiosity and given you a new appreciation for the long and winding road that has led us to where we are today. Keep those minds churning, deep divers, and we'll see you next time for another fascinating journey into the depths of knowledge.